right, who am I standing with?
I'm Carly Owishi
How long have you been doing stand-up comedy for?
since May.
What initially made you want to get into comedy?
So I've been performing and writing for about 13 years in Chicago. And
Yeah.
so stand up was like a challenge. And
Yeah.
I know a lot of stand up and I just wanted to challenge myself.
That's awesome. Has it been a challenge?
Yes, very much so.
I hear you. What do you think is the most challenging part about being a stand-up comedian?
From a writing perspective, it's like having to get to the point so much quicker. You know, like I'm used to writing essays and you can kind of like go on and like having to like cut. And also, being a woman and being older, that's not really the crowd, like especially at things like open mics and stuff. So just that's challenging.
What has that experience been like being an older woman in stand-up comedy?
On one hand, it's good because I don't give any Fs. I think
Yeah.
like I don't think I could have done this in my 20s because I was too insecure and I would have
Yeah.
gotten up there and like worried like, oh my God, am I pretty? Like, do they want to F me? You know, but now I'm like, I don't really care about any of that. And
Yeah.
so I don't feel as self-conscious about that. But on the other hand, I feel like it shows that I'm older, you know, and like I don't want people to write me off just because I'm like married and have a kid and it's like, it's not cool. You know, I don't want to be uncool.
For people that don't know, how would you describe an open mic?
Chaos. No, just kidding. It's a lot, especially the ones that go on for a few hours and are like bucket lists. So bucket lists is they just draw names and you never know when you're going to go, if you are even going to go. So you could be sitting there for 2 or 3 hours and then not even get up. Or if you're on a list and you know you're like 40th out of 50 people, that can be really discouraging. But I give people a lot of credit because it's a lot of time and effort.
What has been your worst experience so far in the stand-up comedy scene?
I did a mic where I was the only woman and every guy just went up and was just talking shit about women. In like the most disgusting, like they just felt like they had license to do it. And there was absolutely no respect that I was there. Like they didn't care. They were just going to say what they wanted to say. It was really uncomfortable. And I ended up leaving.
Do you have a worst habit on stage?
I don't know if I call it a worst habit, but it's one of those things where if I'm up there and I feel like people aren't laughing, I will sort of noticeably check out. And people that are friends of mine will say, I could tell you were losing the audience and you didn't keep up the energy. So I feel like trying to keep it going when it's dead silent is very hard and like to keep up that whole thing. Mm-hmm. So sometimes I sort of like shrink or like my tone changes.
Yeah. Do you still get nervous when you go on stage?
Yeah. I don't think that'll ever change.
Yeah, I agree. Where can people find you on social media?
Instagram is probably the best. I go by at Carly O, CARLYO comedy. So people don't have to mispronounce my last name.